Hello everybody, happy Monday. Tonight on the menu we are doing chicken and dumplings, some asparagus and fried apples. I, for right now, just have some chicken boiling, just chicken breasts, nothing fancy, just boiling some chicken to get it cooked. I thought that I would have enough chicken left over last night to do cooked, or to add to the chicken and dumplings tonight. But I did not, everybody was hungry. So I'm just boiling some real quick. And real quick before we jump into making the dumplings and getting this going, I wanted to answer just a couple quick questions that I'm getting quite a bit about our budget. If you are new to our channel, we are a large family. We have 7 children, a grandson, and our youngest son is Luke, and he is 10 and he is autistic and an extremely picky eater, which is actually a very normal autistic behavior. But he is very picky. And so people are asking, does his food, is that included in this budget that we have set for $400? That being said, we do have all these children, but we do have 4 of them do not live home. Well, the 2 are never home. They don't live at home at all. And the other 2 are in college, and they come home on weekends, and like every other weekend, I'd say is probably a rule of thumb for them to come see us. So we base the budget basically on the 6 of us. All right, so the main question is, Luke's food, is that included in the budget? Well, the answer is yes and no. If we buy the food at the grocery store, then yes, it is all included in our budget. So buying the bread that I buy, he eats a ton of peanut butter sandwiches. I'm just stocked up on peanut butter, so you haven't seen me buy it because I bought like a year's worth of peanut butter a while ago. So I have a ton of peanut butter. And I don't need peanut butter, and I won't. You probably won't see me buy it at all. At all, because I have so much peanut butter. But that, if I needed it, it would be included in it. I'm getting his juice. I still have enough probably for the rest of this month. Next month I'll probably need a little bit of juice because I have a very well stocked pantry. His juice will be included in the budget. So that kind of food is all included in the budget. What is not included in the budget is his Little Caesar pizza that we get. And that we get on Fridays, and that's not included in the budget. It's not. It's $6 a pizza. We get it for him on Fridays, and we just don't include that. The other thing that we do not include is if we eat out. Now, that being said, we don't really eat out. So that's probably why we don't have like an eat out budget set, because we don't really even enjoy it that much. We prefer to eat at home. But there are the little things like last night, Charles had to go up to Tractor Supply to get some salt blocks for the cows and to get some gloves for his hands, working gloves. Kate and Theo wanted to go with him. He had to stop and get gas. Theo wanted an ice cream cone at UDF, so he brought one back for Luke as well. That we don't count in our budget. It doesn't happen often. Every now and then we'll be going to a therapy or something, and Luke wants a Coke from McDonald's. He doesn't do any kind of fast food other than the pizza, so he does love McDonald's Coke though. So if he's had a really good week, then we'll get him a Coke. It's $1. We do not add that to our budget. We don't have a budget for that. The only time that we ever eat out is when I go visit the girls up at the college, and if I have all the kids with me, or even if I don't, and I take them to lunch somewhere so we can just sit and visit without everybody, roommates, and you know, all the commotion of the college, and we can just go visit. Then I take them out to eat, and no, I don't count that. But again, that's happened twice since I went to college in August, so it's so not often that we do any kind of eating out. The other question that I'm getting a lot about is animals, and is animal feed included in our budget? No way. No way is animal feed included. We have 3 cows right now on the farm, 40 chickens, 4 cats, and a dog. And a lot of people don't feed their barn cats. We do. So between the cat food, dog food, the hay, the chicken feed. We spend $200 a month is what we figured it out to be for our animals. And we did start selling, though, a few weeks ago, eggs. We are getting about 12 to 15 a day. It just depends on the day to day. They brought in 14 eggs. Yesterday I gathered them and we had 12. So it just varies. In winter it's going to be even more sporadic and crazy how they lay. But we started selling them for $3 a dozen. We have an envelope that we put the money in, and it says chicken feed on it. And that we use specifically just for chicken feed. So that will help offset some of that cost as well. So hopefully that answered your guys' questions. If you have any more questions about how we're budgeting and how we're doing a $400 budget, let me know down below. I will answer your questions as quickly as I can. All right, let's get started with this dinner though, because this chicken is about done boiling. So I'm gonna get it out, just kind of chop it up, and then we're gonna make the dumplings, and it should really come together pretty fast tonight. All right, so the very first thing I'm gonna do before I start making it is I have a couple containers here of chicken bone broth I'm gonna add to my pot. I do not have any of my own chicken stock yet. I did not get around to making that today, which I meant to, and homeschool and life just got in the way. So I am using canned. This is just store brand bone broth. I want to add some poultry seasoning. I love to hear all the laughter though, not gonna lie. Charles just got home a few minutes ago, so Luke is visiting Daddy. So it's getting quite loud as tickling and everything is happening. So let's let this get to a boil. And while this is coming up to a boil, we are gonna go on and we're going to make the dumplings. Okay, so the dumplings come together pretty quick. I'm gonna start with 2 cups of flour. Then I'm going to just add some salt, kind of like I'm making biscuits. About a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. A few tablespoons or pats of butter. Then I'm just gonna get in and break that up with my fingers, kind of like I'm doing biscuits. The difference though is this is gonna be heavily floured. The rolling pin, the surface, all of it's gonna be heavily floured. The flour on the dumplings is what's gonna help thicken the broth as well. Okay, that feels pretty good. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go on and put some flour here. We're also going to put a lot of flour here, best we can. Now we're going to add in a cup of milk. I'm just going to stir it around until we get our dough. Another very messy thing to cook. They say a messy cook is a good cook, right? That's what my grandmother always said, and I think it's because she was a very messy cook, but boy was she a good cook. Then I'm gonna just lay that out here. Again, very similar to biscuits. Spread our flour out. Just really get a good flour. Then we're gonna start to roll it. And we want this to roll pretty thin for dumplings. All right, and then you're just gonna come in and cut into strips. And of course it's homemade, so it does not have to be perfect. That's part of the fun. Just cut through. This is also something, and then we're going to cut through this way. This is also something that if you did not have meat, you couldn't afford meat, you could still make this just with a broth. And it would still taste very good. So there you have it. That's my dumplings. They're kind of thin. They'll puff up some. Some are small, some are big, some are butter chunks, some don't. It's perfect just the way it is. Next, I'm gonna flour a plate. Again, everything is about keeping it very floury and keeping it from sticking. I'm gonna put my dumplings on here. A little more flour. All right, now this chicken broth is boiling. I'm gonna start dropping them in one at a time. You don't want to drop them in more than one at a time. And these are gonna sit here and boil for like 10, 15 minutes, somewhere in there. Once they're all in, you just want to kind of push them down a little, make sure everybody gets good in the broth. Nobody's still just like left floating up top. Okay, now we're just gonna let this cook now for about 10 to 15 minutes. I came out to throw the recycling away from the containers that I used, and I just want to share with you guys, look at how beautiful the sunset is. So beautiful. We're about to go put the animals away for the night. I just thought I'd share that with you. Okay. He's tickling him, I do believe. So while these dumplings are cooking, and they are cooking up a storm over here, I'm gonna go on and get the fried apples going after I straighten up that mess so that I have my island cut up apple. So be right back. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do, sorry, I know things are looking a mess, is I am gonna melt a stick of butter, a half a cup of butter in this pan. Somebody had made a comment that Americans use a lot of butter, and I have to say, for sure, we use a lot of butter. That's one of the reasons we wanted a milking cow, and I cannot wait until she is not nursing 2 babies, and we are able to get some milk from her. But right now, we are going to get that melted. Okay, while that's going, if you recall, we got these, I gotta use this peeler. My peeler broke, sadly. We got these a few weeks ago, and I was making the caramel apple trifle. So we're just gonna use up the rest of them. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm gonna, like I said, get used to this peeler. I left one Granny Smith apple for Ronnie, she loves them. And the rest I'm going to turn into the fried apples. So I'm just going to peel them and chop them up. Okay, now to this, I'm just gonna slice some apples and add them in here. Okay. Just kind of stirring it in the butter. Okay, now I'm just going to put a lid on and let this cook for about 15 to 20 minutes. And I'm also going to go on and start my oven. I'm going to do 350 to get these asparagus going. I have my handy dandy chicken bucket, because everybody should have one that has chickens. The chickens love all the scraps. Okay, I just washed it. I'm just gonna snap the asparagus where it naturally snaps, and these stems will all go to the chickens, of course. Next year, we are gonna get our asparagus planted. It takes a few years for it to grow, but I need to make sure that I had a permanent spot for it, that we were for sure where it was gonna stay, because you don't want to move it once you plant it. So I'm excited for that. That's one of my favorite vegetables. I'm gonna toss this with a little bit of olive oil. A little soy sauce. That's empty. So we'll use this one, a little bit of soy sauce. And a little bit of brown sugar. And just toss it all together. And I'm gonna put that in the oven. And now it is back to coming over here to our chicken and dumplings. I'm just going to kind of stir the bottom, make sure nobody's sticking to the bottom. Got a little bit of clumping going on here. It is definitely getting thicker. If you can see that. Now you need to take out a dumpling and you need to just try it and see if it tastes still floury or if it tastes done. So let me get one out of here. All right, those taste pretty perfect. So I'm going to turn off the heat on this. I'm going to add in all this chicken. You could also stretch the chicken by not putting much chicken in if you wanted. That's all up to you on how you want to do it. And I'm going to add pepper. I love pepper. I always add a lot of pepper to everything. Give that a quick stir. And again, we're just kind of letting this sit here. This will cool off a little, thicken a little bit more as it's cooling off while everything else is cooking. I'll try and put it where you guys can see better. Over here, the apples are cooking away, steaming up the camera. Okay, these apples are pretty good, and they're getting pretty soft, so I'm going to go ahead and take that off. I'm going to add a little bit of brown sugar, a little white sugar, a little bit of nutmeg, some cinnamon, and a little bit of salt. Then I'm just going to stir that together and let it cook just a few minutes while the sugars dissolve in here. Just going to let the sugar dissolve a little bit, and then these are ready. Alright, so here is tonight's dinner. Alright guys, that wraps it up for tonight. This is like the perfect dinner for a super cold night because it is in the 20s here and we're freezing. So we're gonna go eat dinner. Don't forget to let me know down below what you guys had for dinner as well. It helps me and it helps everybody else kind of get ideas for their family for dinner. Thank you so much for watching. Bye everybody, have a great day or night wherever you are. I'll see you tomorrow.